The secret circus of celestial creatures. In the tranquil town of Willowmere, under the perpetual twilight of an eclipse that had lasted for 7 days and 7 nights, a circus had come to town. Not just any circus, but the secret circus of celestial creatures, a spectacle whispered about in the corners of reality where the veil between worlds was thin. The circus master was a being known as Orion, the constellation come to life, with stars shimmering in his eyes and a cloak of midnight blue draped over his shoulders. His circus was a cavalcade of wonders, a place where the impossible danced with the probable and where the stars themselves came down to play. The arrival of the circus had not been announced by the criers or posted on the notice boards. Instead, it had appeared as if by magic in the meadow on the outskirts of Willowmere, where the grass was always slightly damp and the air hummed with the unseen energy of the eclipse. Word of the circus spread like a gentle breeze through Willowmere, carrying tales of acrobats that could leap between moments, of jugglers whose objects floated as if in space, and of clowns whose laughter sounded like the music of the spheres. Among those drawn to the circus was a young girl named Elara, with hair the color of twilight and a soul that yearned for the stars. Elara was no stranger to the peculiar and the arcane. Her grandmother had been the town's storyteller, weaving tales of the celestial and the ethereal, until her last breath, which she had exhaled with a smile, whispering of the wonders yet to come. The circus enthralled Elara. She watched as Orion opened the show, his voice echoing like a sonnet across the cosmos, inviting the audience to behold the marvels he had gathered from the farthest reaches of the universe. The first act was a troupe of starlight acrobats, beings of pure radiance that twisted and turned in the air, their forms trailing stardust that lingered like the tail of a comet. They moved with a grace that defied gravity, leaping from one eclipse shadow to another, their performance a ballet of light and darkness. Next came the nebula tamer, a woman with hair of swirling cosmic dust and eyes that held the depth of galaxies. Her beasts were clouds of color and light, sentient nebulas that roared with the voices of 1,000 suns. She commanded them with a gentle touch and a firm gaze, their shapes changing at her bidding, a lion one moment, a bird the next. But it was the final act that captured Elara's heart, the dance of the celestial creatures. They were beings that defied description, their forms ever-shifting, made of starlight and mystery. They danced to a music that was not heard but felt, a symphony of the universe that resonated with the soul of every onlooker. As the circus came to a close, Elara felt a tug on her spirit, a calling that whispered of secrets and wonders beyond her understanding. She approached Orion, her resolve shining in her eyes. "I wish to join your circus," she said, her voice steady, though her heart raced like a meteor across the sky. Orion regarded her with a gaze that saw through the facades of the world. "And what can you offer, child of the terrestrial realm?" he asked, his tone a melody of curiosity and challenge. Elara thought of her grandmother's stories, of the world's hidden magic that she had always believed in. "I offer my wonder, my belief in the impossible, and my desire to learn the secrets of the cosmos." Orion's starry eyes twinkled, the corners of his mouth turning up in a knowing smile. "Then welcome, Elara, to the secret circus of celestial creatures. Prepare to journey beyond the eclipse." Elara's adventure with the circus began that very night. She learned the language of the stars, the etiquette of the cosmos, and the dance of the celestial. With each passing day, she grew more attuned to the mysteries of the universe, her presence becoming an integral part of the circus's magic. As months passed in the world outside, time within the circus seemed to flow differently, like the ebb and flow of tides guided by the moon's whisper. Elara's performances with the celestial creatures became the highlight of the show, her dance a fusion of human passion and cosmic elegance. Yet, even as she reveled in the wonders of the circus, a part of her heart remained tied to Willowmere, to the world she had left behind. She thought of the stories her grandmother had told, of the cycle of eclipses, and the balance between the celestial and the terrestrial. It was during a performance, as she danced amidst the creatures of light, that Elara felt a tremor in the fabric of the cosmos. A discordant note rang through the music of the spheres, and she knew instinctively that something had shifted. Something vital had been disturbed. The tremor that Elara felt was subtle, but to her attuned senses, it might as well have been a thunderclap. As the circus's festivities continued around her, she sought out Orion, finding him gazing into a pool of starlight that served as his looking glass into the cosmos. "Something is wrong," Elara said, her voice laced with urgency. "The music of the spheres is out of tune." Orion's eyes reflected the swirling constellations above. "Indeed," he replied solemnly, "the balance is shifting. The eclipse that shrouds your world is fading, and with it, the magic that sustains this circus. We are creatures of the in-between, and without the eclipse, we cannot exist in your realm." The thought of losing the circus, this pocket of wonder that had become her home, filled Elara with a sense of loss as profound as a black hole. But more than that, she thought of her town, of the stories her grandmother had told. Stories not just of magic, but of harmony between the celestial and the earthly. "What can we do?" she asked, her determination rekindling like a star being born from the nebula's heart. Orion turned to her, the light of countless suns dancing in his gaze. "We must restore the balance. The eclipse must be made whole again for the sake of both our worlds." Together, they devised a plan. The circus would perform one final act, one that would harness the magic of every creature, every starlight acrobat, every nebula beast, to mend the tear in the cosmic fabric. The news of the final performance spread through the circus like wildfire. Every being, from the smallest glowing sprite to the grand nebula tamer, prepared for the show that would determine their fate. As the audience gathered, a hush fell over the meadow. The secret circus of celestial creatures began its most crucial act under the watchful eyes of the cosmos. Elara took center stage, her body aglow with the starlight she had learned to channel. Orion conducted the orchestra, a symphony that wove together the threads of magic. The acrobats leaped higher than ever before, their stardust trails weaving a tapestry in the sky. The nebula tamers' beasts roared, their voices calling to the depths of space. Elara danced, her movements a prayer, an invocation to the celestial powers that be. She became the embodiment of the eclipse, the meeting of shadow and light, of substance and void. As the climax of the performance neared, Orion lifted his hands to the stars. A beam of pure, crystalline light shot from his fingertips, connecting the circus to the heavens. The light spread, a radiant web linking every performer, every creature, every act of wonder. It pulsed with the collective heartbeat of the circus, a heart that beat in time with the universe itself. And then, with a crescendo that resonated through both the earth and the stars, the light burst forth, a nova of hope and renewal. The townsfolk of Willowmere watched in awe as the perpetual twilight above them shuddered. The darkened sun, which had been veiled for so long, began to burn bright once more. The eclipse was restored, its balance mended by the magic of the circus. As the light returned to normal, the circus began to fade, its tents and performers becoming translucent, then ethereal, until they were nothing but a memory glimmering in the daylight. Elara, too, felt the pull of her world, the call of her roots. With a heavy heart, she bid farewell to Orion and the wondrous beings she had come to love. As the last vestiges of the circus disappeared, she found herself standing in the meadow, the grass still damp beneath her feet, the memory of starlight warm on her skin. The secret circus of celestial creatures was gone, but its legacy would live on. Willowmere would remember the time when the stars came down to play, and the echoes of the cosmic symphony would resonate in the hearts of those who had witnessed its magic. Elara returned to her life in the village, but she was changed. She had danced with the stars, and that dance would never truly end. She became the new storyteller, the keeper of the circus's legacy, weaving tales of the night when the universe had come to town. The balance between the celestial and the earthly had been restored, and though the circus was no longer there in form, its spirit remained, a secret woven into the fabric of Willowmere, into the turning of the seasons and the dance of the stars above. And sometimes, on clear nights, when the stars shone brightly and the moon was just a sliver in the sky, the children of Willowmere would sneak out to the meadow and whisper their dreams into the night, where they believed the celestial creatures still listened, hidden just beyond sight, a secret circus waiting for the next eclipse to dance once more.